the website. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, we are live now in the Northfield Fest YouTube, streaming live, and we are with one of the filmmakers of this edition, Edward Osrekar. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, Darwin. Doing great. I'm glad to be here. And this is an awesome festival, an awesome opportunity for all of the filmmakers.
Thank you, Edward. First of all, let's get to the gritty nitty. Why do
Okay.
you decide to create this talk show? Where is this idea or this desire come
Well,
from?
it will be, let's see, it'll be 3 years this coming July that I had my first talk show episode. I've always liked to talk to people. I like to engage with people,
Mm-hmm.
have them find out what I'm about, and I like to find out what they're about. So originally, I just thought, well, I'll just make videos, talking to people, uploading them to my YouTube channel. And then the more and more I thought about it, actually, as a result of going to my very first film festival, which happened to be yours in September
Mm-hmm.
2022, Love and Hope International Film Festival in
Mm-hmm.
Barcelona. So
Right.
at that time, I was in the cast of a totally Zoom produced film.
Mm-hmm.
So that got me to thinking that, my videos that I upload to YouTube, they're a film. So then I started to investigate, the details of the film festival categories, and I says my films are a documentary. So then I started to submit to film festivals in the documentary feature or
Mm-hmm.
documentary short film, and so like they say, from there the rest is history.
Right. Okay, so that's how everything starts. So you felt through, let's say, through Ella, right?
Oh, Ella, yes, Ella
That was
Muscro.
the film, right? That was the film that was 3 years ago.
It will be 3 years ago this coming September. It was in September 2022 that Ella, very talented actress and filmmaker, writer,
Mm-hmm.
producer, director from the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I was involved in a totally Zoom produced film, answered the casting call for it, joined her online artistic collective, Loud Voices Silent Streets, both on Instagram and on Facebook. So she submitted to your festival. I believe it might have been maybe the very first film festival she submitted to. So she told all of us in our group chat, she says, I've submitted to Darwin's Love and Hope Film Festival in Barcelona, and
Mm-hmm.
I've been invited to come, as a director, I've been invited to come to attend the film festival. If
Mm-hmm.
there's anyone in the cast or crew or whatever that would like to join me, I'll ask him if I can also bring others along with me. So she
Mm-hmm.
asked, you said certainly. So she got
Mm-hmm.
back to all of us and she says, he welcomes anyone that wants to come and attend with me. And anyone that is interested, let me know. So I says to myself, this is a great opportunity. So I let her know. And that's when I was able to attend the festival with her. And also Bex Barlow, another very talented artist, actress, writer, filmmaker from the UK. She was also in that film that's called After Mum. Totally,
Mm-hmm. After mom.
total Zoom produced
Uh-huh.
film.
Wow.
So that's how I got into all of this from Ella. And forever, I might be embarrassing Ella every time I mention this, but I always say I thank you from the bottom of my heart, Ella, for casting me and open the doors to all of this, meeting you, uh,
Right? You
your
start
daughter.
with Ella, exactly. Ella opened that door, that
Yes,
Pandora door, right? Yeah,
yes, the Pandora
definitely.
door opened, and it's
Uh,
like
Look,
meeting.
look. I mean, you were just with John Travolta a couple of weeks ago. So,
Yes, yeah, that was I very. along with all the rest of us there at the
Uh-huh.
Gasparilla International Film Festival in Tampa, Florida.
Right.
We had the chance to be in the presence of the great talented artist John Travolta. It's like pinch me, am I dreaming? This is surreal. And I imagine the rest of us that were there felt the same way. No, that was a fantastic opportunity. Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works, right? Is to be ready. I mean, and you go to Cannes now also next in 2 week within 2 weeks
Yes.
as a member of the of Festival de Cannes, the original festival. You just go there to promote your talk show, right?
Oh yes, oh definitely looking for distribution, distributing my credentials around both as an actor, a voiceover actor, and the host of my talk show, Edward S. Redcar's Entertainer Chat. So very much going to look into that this year at Cannes, distributing my and promoting my talk show as much as I can to distributors, producers, anyone that I happen to run into, which is a good possibility because there's so many people there. So it's like I'm bound to run into somebody that I can talk to and start to, engage with. Yeah.
Right. So getting back to your talk show, so now I know where is all this passion coming from. Um, what is the toughest part when you interview a celebrity or interview your filmmakers? What is for you the hardest part for you on that process?
I think the hardest part is is getting to know them first.
Mm-hmm.
Once I get to know them, it's just like it just flows. But like most of the guests that I have on my talk show, I have never even met in person. I have never even communicated before, messaging them like on either Instagram, Facebook, email, texting, WhatsApp, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the most difficult part. So
Mm-hmm.
every time when hello, Katie. So every time, even before I start recording the show, before we start to go on Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
I always try to find a little bit more about them. I've sent them like a list of questions beforehand to let them get familiar with what I
Mm-hmm.
want to ask them. I don't go into the interview cold without them knowing what I'm going to talk about. So
Mm-hmm.
even before I press record on Zoom, we talk a little bit, try to find about
Mm-hmm.
what they are, who they are, kind of lighten the atmosphere. Always tell them, I says in the interview, I said, just think of it as good friends getting together in a restaurant over a drink, a meal, and talking, and the camera and the audio just happen to be on, and everybody out there in Zoom or YouTube land or wherever is listening. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, once, like they say, once we break the ice, then that hurdle, we've jumped over that hurdle. But like I said, that's maybe the most difficult is uh,
Right.
start a friendly conversation. But yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So Edward, how do you keep the flow during 1 hour and a half? How do you make that it is not boring? I mean, it's because of the research and all the questions that you pop out for the
Oh
guests. Or what
yeah,
do you
oh
think?
yeah.
What are your strategy for that?
Oh, like my questions. I scour the internet, if
Mm-hmm.
that's the correct term to use. That's the only one I can think of right now. But I scour the internet, Google, IMDb,
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, Facebook, if they have a website,
Mm-hmm.
if they have like another Instagram account, maybe if they're a filmmaker or a production company. Um, I look into that. Any other Facebook accounts, any other extra websites, both for them and like their company. So yeah, I know there's a lot of research that goes into it. And also I like to put a combination of pictures in like the beginning and the ending segments of my program to kind of give people an idea who they are and what they do before we start getting into the interview. A lot of still shots
Mm-hmm.
to get to know like them professionally. I'll mix it up with like personal pictures, like say family photos. If they like to hike or bike or sail, anything away from the stage. And then even during the interview, what I'll do is I'll make copies of like their video posts, like if they're
Mm-hmm.
like in a film or something like that. So within the interview, I kind of interject these little short, maybe 1 minute at the most clips in between questions. I'll wait for a question to end, and then before I start the next question, I'll
Mm-hmm.
insert that clip like from like a current project that has been released, and
Right.
it keeps the flow the show flowing that way. Yeah.
Mm. Now, interesting. Nice, nice. What about let's say let's get into it with John and Olga, amazing filmmakers,
Amazing.
actors from Canada.
Oh
What
my
can you tell
God.
me about them,
Oh my
Edward?
God. Oh, do we have enough time? Or are we going to run out? I first met them in what was it? April 2023 when first went to the Skip Town International Film Festival in East
Right, right.
Hollywood, directed by the very talented musician, video creator, filmmaker, actor Vincenzo Carubia, or Vince as we know
Mm-hmm.
him.
Right.
At that time, I went with you and a few others, Stephen and Flora Chang, and
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't submit at that time, so it was
Mm-hmm.
just a chance for me just to kind of see what it was all about. Make friends, make connections, and it just so happened that John and Olga were there. Um, debuting their film Scarpacciamente. I hope I'm
Mm-hmm.
pronouncing it right. Forgive me, John and Olga, if I'm not, but I think I am. So I got to know them. I got to know them very well for the first time. And during one of the breaks in the film festival, we all sort of go our separate ways, like out to lunch or something. So I just happened to be up the street at um, this isn't a plug or anything, at a McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just happened to go in there, to get a soda and a,
Mm-hmm.
hamburger. Lo and behold, I see John and Olga there. They were sitting at a table.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, I'd met them before at the film festival, but this
Mm,
was, in an atmosphere away from the festival,
gotcha.
just getting, together as friends. So we sat down. My God, we must have sat there and talked, geez, I don't know, maybe about an hour before we all had to get back to the screenings. I believe that
Mm-hmm.
started a little bit later. I told about myself. They told about themselves, about their family. Found out that, he grew up in Toronto and
Mm-hmm.
learned a lot about Olga, that officially she's like a language translator. She does a lot of
Mm-hmm.
that, like
Right.
for government and things like that. So that's where that relationship all came about.
Mm-hmm.
Met them again at your your film festival the next year, and that's where they also screened Scarpacciamente.
Mm-hmm.
So during one of the breaks, or it might have been even like maybe before or after their screening, at the red carpet downstairs in the Cinema Malda. Got to give a plug for that, naturally. The oldest cinema in Barcelona, Spain, if nobody knows.
Right.
So at the red carpet with the backdrop for your film festival.
Mm-hmm.
So I did with them what I call an on the fly interview. Edward Osred Cars Entertainment
Wow.
on the
That
fly.
was your that was your first? That was your first or no?
No,
Okay.
I had a small number of that before
Mm-hmm.
then, but that was the very first time that I interviewed them. I says to my,
Gotcha.
I says to them, I says, would you mind, just stepping aside 2 or 3 minutes, get to know you, get so people out there can, get to know you. So they did
Mm-hmm.
that quick 2 or 3 minutes just to get to know them. So then after that outside, we were taking a break before the next screening or whatever. So I says to them, I says, if you're ever interested, would you like to be on my, if you want to call it official talk show, the Zoom
Mm-hmm.
version?
Mm-hmm.
They had no reservations. No, we'll be on it anytime. You just let me know. We'll be on there, whenever, we'll make arrangements and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was sort of like a business meeting in the street,
Right.
kind of impromptu, friendly exchange back and forth. So I says, yeah, okay, I'll get a hold of you after the festival's over. So after the festival, we all went back to our respective homes, countries, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I contacted them. We made the appointment for the schedule. So they zoomed from Montreal. If I said Toronto before, I misspoke. Montreal,
Mm-hmm.
in Canada. So
Wow.
yeah, so that's where that all started with John and Olga. So yeah, now I've been starting to run the film festival circuit with their interview, and
Okay, with the interview, right? Yeah, and
yeah.
they are they're very charismatic, so that's good for the interview as well, right?
Oh yes, oh yeah. In fact, I don't know if it was like in the middle or in the end of the interview of the Zoom interview. I don't know how the conversation got to like Johnny Carson or whatever, because I says like with
Mm-hmm.
my blue backdrop curtain on my virtual screen there, I says
Uh-huh.
I sort of want to sort of bring it back and make it look like the days of like the old talk show with the curtain and
Right.
everything. So he says to me, he says, Ed, he says, if you ever get a network talk show, he says, promise me, he says, we'll be the first guests on your show.
Oh,
I
look
says,
at
you
that.
Look at that.
I says, you got it. I says, you got an open invitation right here, and it's like everybody out there in Zoom land. I says, you heard it first here. John Van Voss and Olga Montes are going to be my first guests. So yeah, so that's where all that first started, and it just blossomed from there. Yeah.
So, Edward, I don't know how many interviews have you done the last 3 years, but I think it's over 100 probably. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna put you in the spot a little bit. Is that what is the five more interesting interviews? I know they are all interviews because you're such a professional and you take care of every single interview. But which one is the five that you remember the most? If you want to share that with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me take a drink of water before I answer that question.
I get you in troubles, huh?
Well, I would say that I in all truthfulness, I enjoy all my interviews, and
Yeah, I know that.
and I love to meet people. Um, well, of course, one of them would have to be John and Olga.
Definitely, right? Yes.
Um, let's see, John and Olga. Let's see. Definitely, my longest, not in duration, but I mean like in miles or kilometers, whatever you want to
Mm-hmm.
translate it to. I had an interview with Natalie Rowe, a former
Mm-hmm.
entertainment wrestler, now turned actress. And she was zooming all the way from Melbourne, Australia. That's my longest
Oh, wow.
distance-wise Zoom. So
Nice.
it's like, okay, I'm Eastern time in the US. She's
Mm-hmm.
Australia time, and I believe they're like 14 hours ahead of us into the next day. And it's like, okay,
Right?
now, when can I find the time when I'm still awake and not
Uh-huh.
feeling like falling asleep during the interview? And when it's convenient for her, where it's not too early in the morning or it's not too late at night for her. So I forgot what time it was that we that we agreed on it, but we found a mutual time, and yeah, that was awesome. Let's see, Australia. Let's see, John and Olga. Let's see, Australia.
Just give me a couple of more you think because
Okay,
you've been
okay.
a with a few famous actors out there too, which I remember was a bad guy who an actor, I remember his name,
Oh,
Kill Bill Kill, right? Or something like that. Oh,
are you talking
Patrick.
about
yeah, yeah,
Patrick
yeah.
Kilpatrick? Yes, Pat.
How
You
was that
know,
interview? Was great
oh,
too, right?
I mean, it was just like, well, of course, it helped that we all met him at Chandler International Film
Chandler,
Festival.
correct.
So yeah, we all met him first, so that kind of broke the ice a little bit. No, that was fantastic. Patrick Kilpatrick, that was yeah, it's like I asked him and he says yes. And it's like I thought, it's like, he's very well known, very talented. I says,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'll probably get an answer like, well, my people will talk to your people. They'll get back.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Right.
no, it was direct. It was
Oh
direct.
wow,
It was,
nice.
yeah, it was direct. Yeah, Darwin, Katie, it was like an Instagram DM. It's like, are you kidding me? Direct communication.
Wow.
That was great. Another one, let's see, you said a couple more. Well, the last of the couple more that I'll talk about is Isaiah Seward. I don't know if you've ever watched him. He's like on, he has like recurring roles on CBS, like
Mm-hmm.
FBI, and, and
Right.
and also on NBC.
Mm-hmm.
So a while ago, when I first got into Instagram, I subscribed to this one service. I forget the name of the company that like promote your Instagram page for you. And so
Mm-hmm.
they'll promote you to like other actors, producers, directors, casting companies.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of this is going on in the background, and you don't realize that. Meanwhile, your follower numbers are going up because they work on it
Mm-hmm.
for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the one of those that they promoted me to was Isaiah Seward. And at
Uh-huh.
that time, I did not know that, he was like affiliated with NBC, CBS, and things like that. So I got to reading more about his posts, details. And, I mean, he's got a lot of followers, way, way more followers than I do,
Mm-hmm.
naturally. So I says, what the heck? I says, I'm going to take a chance. I said, and I mean, on and off, we would DM back and forth, hello, how you doing? Or I'd say to him, congratulations on getting your recurring spot again, on CBS or whatever. Thank you,
Mm-hmm.
and back and forth. So we were sort of like Instagram friendly, if you want to call it that way.
Right.
So I says, what the heck? Um, I says, I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to ask him. So I DM'd him one time and I says, Isaiah, I says, YouTube and this and that. I says, if you're ever interested on being interviewed by me, let me know and we can set something up. So it was like within the day that I got a DM directly from Isaiah Seward. Again, I thought, NBC, CBS, oh, I'll have my people get a hold of your people and then you guys iron it out, work it out.
Uh-huh.
Within the day, he says, sure. He says, I'll do the interview. And it was like, what? It's like, what? It's like my glasses almost fell out. It's like, what? And so I says, well, I'll send you a list of questions and this and that. I says,
Mm-hmm.
and that I always say this to all of my guests. I says, I'll send you a list of questions. If there's any that you don't want to answer, just let me know the day or days before the interview, so I can
Mm-hmm.
redo it a little bit.
Right.
So I said the same thing. I said, I'm going to send you a list of questions. If there's any you're not feel comfortable with, I says, let me know. He DM me back. He says, I'm an open book. Ask me anything. It's like, what? What?
Nice.
So
Nice, huh?
those are the ones that
Mm-hmm.
most readily stick out to me.
And what about Mr. What about the woman that I used to go to many of that interview to many festivals with you together, Blake? It was Blake?
Oh, Brittany, you're talking about?
No, Blake. Blake. one of your first entertaining chat interviews that you put
Oh,
out there.
Catherine.
Yeah, that one.
Yes, Catherine, yes.
You did
She was,
a long circuit with that interview, huh?
oh,
In festival out there. Oh my God.
I made the film first festival circuit the first year that I
Hmm.
started submitting. I submitted to like online festivals. I submitted to your festivals.
Uh-huh.
I got
To Skip Town, to
to
all of
skip
those.
to Skip Town.
Wow,
I
to
won
Italy,
awards.
to Italy, you won awards all over the place. Yeah, that she
Yes,
was
and
also a very, very charismatic, right, person.
that's why I picked her. It's like, it's like she was so interesting to talk to, listen with. There's a lot of, plus the fact that I already had worked with her before.
Right.
When I first got into like filming back in COVID, when everything was closed down, we both belonged to the online artistic or the theater group. It's called Alpha NYC from New York City, and it was called A Virtual Christmas. And I played of the ghost of let's see, the ghost of Christmas Present. And so she played like I think it was like one of Bob Cratchit's children. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where I first knew her and got to know her. Um, and unfortunately, we have never met in person, but we
Look at
have
that.
a good, friendly relationship, just
Mm-hmm.
as if we had always known each other all our lives and had actually met in person.
Wow.
I've never met her in person, but yes, I mean, she's won. I've won. Me and Catherine have won awards for her interview, both online, at your festivals. She's won. It's like a best documentary feature film awards. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, I made quite a trip around, quite a trip around the world. Quite a trip around the world with that DCP. So that
Yeah,
DCP is
right?
really worn out right now. So,
Uh-huh, for
yeah,
real. Hey,
yeah.
Katie, you can jump in, Katie. You got a couple of questions for Mr. E. Go ahead. Remember any question? Mm,
Hey.
for Edward, we call him Mr. E. It's a long relation friendship.
Yes,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, what you got for me, Katie? Fire away, fire away.
So what got you into doing the entertainment chat? Like, how did it all come to be?
Well, I always had an interest like in people, finding out about people. I love to meet people. And so it just started out as I says, well, maybe I'll make videos, just having a conversation with people. At that time, it was a young YouTube channel that I started.
mhm,
And, I had, just maybe a few videos on there. So I says, well, I'll just have some videos of me talking to different people, writers, actors, whatever. So yeah, I started to upload them to my YouTube channel, and then I figured as a result of first attending Darwin's Film Festival in Barcelona back in 2022, and
mhm,
so it kind of gave me an idea of what film festivals were all about. And I says, well, I says these videos that I'm talking to people, they're a film. So I says, there's got to be some way that I can enter them into film festivals. So I
mhm,
researched different film festivals, the categories, and
mhm,
I decided on documentary. I says, it's a documentary. You're getting to find out more about a
Yeah,
person in
it is.
depth.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm,
So I started to, upload them to my YouTube channel, polish them up, a little bit with beginning and ending segments, photos, and then later added videos, which I
Wait,
no,
your whistle.
I gotta wet my whistle. My whistle doesn't work, but my voice does. But
That's
no,
right.
Nikki.
I forgot to mention before videos, inserting videos and video clips in my talk shows. I have to give total credit to our a good friend who passed away, Bilal Hussein.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yes, yes. We had many conversations, both
Hmm.
by text and by video chat. And, we would sort of critique each other's work. And so he gave me the the awesome and priceless advice. He says, what you should do, he says, why don't you think about inserting video or video clips in your interview? It'll make it more interesting. Not
Hmm.
that my interviews were dry by any means, but it'll kind of
Hmm.
break it up. So I started doing that, and
Hmm.
I told him about it. But no, I've got to give all the credit to Bilal. God rest his soul,
Hmm.
Um,
wherever you are up there, uh, uh, for
Hmm.
that. I mean, it's totally because of him that that came into being in my
no,
video, in my talk shows. Yeah, yeah,
no.
Wow.
yeah.
You just interviewed Johnny with the long hair, huh? I can see the interview here. That was a fun 1 hour and a half interview, I
I
guess,
Oh
right?
knew
my
I
God, you interviewed Johnny.
Oh,
Jeez, Louis.
one
yes.
hour and a
That must
half,
have been
huh? Wow,
funny.
fun.
I knew that was going to be a good interview. I could just,
Uh-huh, for
well,
sure.
all of us, we know Johnny, In fact, where that started, it started a year ago, come June, when we were making your film, Darwin, The Black Mafia.
The Black Mafia, yeah.
Yes, I can remember just like it was yesterday. We were all crammed in Katie's apartment in Spanish Harlem, and me and Johnny were both sitting on the sofa, which also served as the temporary bedroom during the time.
Flash bedroom.
So So Johnny was sitting on the right. I was sitting by the left by your exercise bicycle there, Katie.
Oh, there it is.
So, so Johnny looks over to me. We were talking about something else. So Johnny looks over to me. He says, Mr. E or whatever. He says, I'd love to be on your talk show sometime. And I didn't even bring the subject up because a lot of times now, I've been doing this for so long now that now people approach me and ask me, it was before when I first started, I would ask people. And now, people see my show and they're interested. So they start, asking. So he looks over to me and, says that. And I says, anytime, Johnny, anytime, we can get together, we'll work it out and this and that.
Hmm.
And that was a year come June. So we find, our schedules or whatever finally meshed and everything. So yeah, yeah, I finally interviewed him. Let's see, this is April, March. Yeah, yeah, last month I finally interviewed him last month, and that was awesome. That was awesome. So I felt like I was right in his house because like I think it was like
Right?
either before or after the interview, it's like he gave me a grand tour of his house. He showed me
Look at that.
gave me this is my room, there's the upstairs and this and that, and okay, here's all the plants on my outside patio and this and that. And that's just like
Saw his MacGyver outside. That is so interesting.
yes, yeah. So, and so it's like, okay, I know the layout of his house now and this and that. And so, it's just like I could like relax on the sofa in his house and just start talking to him in an interview and this and stuff like that. So,
Right.
so yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, Edward, it's been a pleasure to have you. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. We are about to come with the best short documentary filmmakers. So we're happy to have you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being our interviewee. Now you're in the opposite of the spectrum, right?
I know it. I know. No, this is great. It gives me
So
like another perspective. It's like when I first came back to acting before I went to a bunch of plays, college or whatever, and I got to sit in the audience and it's like, well, geez, this is what it feels like to be an audience member after all those years. I've
Right?
been on the stage. I've been looking out in the audience. I couldn't see anybody because the lights blind you on the stage. So no, this is great. I really enjoyed it. talking to you, Darwin, talking to you again, Katie. So yeah,
Yeah. Thank you, Edward. Thank you very much. Best of luck for tonight. See you tonight, 8 p.m. for the Beast Zoom,
I
where you
will.
might offer your services as, Edward Osrecar Entertainment Chat to the group. You're open to get people, filmmakers from the festival in your talk
That
show.
that
All
would be
right.
awesome. That would be
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, that
All
would
right.
be.
Let's grab a quick snapshot, very quick here. Funny moments. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. E.
Thank
I'll see
you.
you soon. See you later. And remember, 10 o'clock via YouTube live, the awards. All right. So let's congratulate you. Let's see who wins. Let's congratulate everybody. All right.
Okay. Okay. See you soon. See you
Thank
soon.
you. See you soon.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.